right, so I'm going to make a recording here discussing a lot of the content I see on YouTube concerning psilocybin and research and different institutions that are being discussed. I've seen in TED Talks. I've just seen it in discussions on, Deepak Chopra's interviews with, people in the universities who are researching this stuff. Where else have I seen it? Just all over the place. Jordan Peterson. There's just so much. I can't even name them all. So the reason why I want to say something about this is because I want people to have true understanding of these things in life. Of not only the light and the truth of things, but, psilocybin is such a big topic these days everywhere. It is going to be coming out into the world for general consumption and therapeutic use here in the future. And it's the new frontier for some of these pharmaceutical companies and research institutions. But the way it's being approached will never allow them to understand what is occurring not only in the person, but as a tool for self-improvement. Because in order to truly understand what is occurring, you cannot sit on the sidelines and just look at it. Number one, you will never understand it unless you do it. So I'll expand on this point, but number two, you will never understand anything about what's going on in life by using methods you were taught in institutions of higher learning. It's a completely erroneous starting point. And how do I even say this clearer is you have to empty yourself completely. You can know everything. The entire universe is waiting to pour its infinite knowledge into your use. Well, to a degree, you have to be a responsible recipient first. But it is there to be had. But the obstacle is all the institutionalized educations that have been given to everybody is literally a blockage to receiving the fullness of the truth that is out there, waiting for you to empty yourself enough to become a proper recipient. It is a necessary requirement to give up everything you think you know, all the methods and formulas and scientific understanding you think you have is entirely false. And it has led to a complete misunderstanding and misappropriation of the history of this planet, number one, of the evolution of mankind, of its divine source, all this institutionalized learning is in complete opposition to your divinity. And the place mankind is right now, where we see, we have this technology, we have these great buildings and architecture and this and that, is like castles built on sand. Because the foundation of divinity is what's missing. No one understands what they're doing. You can just look at the materials we use, the destructive tendencies we have upon the planet, and through industry and corporations, how we're just raping the planet and spewing toxins and creating all these destructive elements. We literally have no idea what we're doing. Absolute idiotic children ripping apart this planet. And they have no idea what they're doing. They're fumbling in the dark. And it's because their heads have been filled with grandiose self-importance, that they think they understand all the scientific, the elements and the math and everything, and they have no idea what they're doing. They're completely misusing it. And life will keep us in a limitation until we build that proper foundation of understanding to become responsible. This is kind of what happened with Nikola Tesla and others who were tapping into existing blueprints of devices and technology and understanding. But you know what happened? Is life, because of greed, life had to withdraw that understanding and not bring it out to mankind's use. Because of greed and irresponsible behavior. It knew we would destroy ourselves if we were given any greater rope. I mean, look at us in our complete ignorance creating these nuclear and atomic devices. We think we've made some grand discovery, but that is a power that is great enough to destroy the entire planet. And it's just astounding. The misuse of man's intellect in creating these devices. So I'm making this recording to make a point to those that are in these institutions. You are so brainwashed. You're going to have so much work to try to clean up your house in order to ever have true understanding of life. You have to empty your cup, and the more you fill it with all these falsehoods, these intellectual endeavors are tremendous falsehoods. The more you fill yourself with these falsehoods, you make it impossible for reality to ever even enter your mind. And so I'm going to expand upon that now with all this discussion of psilocybin by all these people. If you want to understand it, you're going to have to use it. And there's so much chit-chat and talk on these YouTubes. These videos and discussions are being made you will never understand it until you use it. And a lot more than once. It's a relationship. I've said this before. If you want to understand it, you have to create the relationship with psilocybin. It is a tool, and you don't learn how to use the tool by your very first time. It's like discovering a hammer. I don't know if a hammer, maybe a scalpel for the very first time. If you're a surgeon, it takes a lot of practice to use that scalpel properly. And it is the same way with psilocybin. It is a scalpel. It is a surgical tool that can be of tremendous use. But you cannot learn how to use it by looking at it from the outside. I wanted to make one additional statement when I was talking about Nikola Tesla. And I wasn't criticizing him per se. It wasn't his greed that was the problem. It was those around him. The Westinghouses, the Edisons, and others who were the source of greed that I'm explaining about. Nikola Tesla was an individual who was capable of emptying himself and tapping in to the universal to receive those blueprints that were already in existence on the inner, and to begin to manufacture and understand these devices to come into the service of mankind. But, as I said, the light in its infinite wisdom understood, after seeing the actions of mankind, it was kind of a test to see what mankind would do. And after witnessing the intensity of the greed that surfaced to profit from these devices, instead of them coming out to the service of mankind freely. I mean, that's one side of it. And the other side is the sheer power and potential of these devices would have been misused. So this great blessing that could have come forth had to be withdrawn. And it is this complete, shameful, selfish behavior of mankind that wrecks so many blessings that could have already come forth. So ponder that. Anybody who's in a business, think about how your actions are serving mankind or an obstacle to mankind, and try to do better. Thank you.